On today's episode of Warehouse Safety Tips, we're going to be covering week 3 of 4 on off-the-job safety, protecting yourself at home. So stay tuned. Welcome to Warehouse Safety Tips. If you're a seasoned vodcast viewer, this vodcast is going to be different from most that you watch. It's based around exactly what the name implies, Warehouse Safety Tips. And since the people in this industry are busy, we know that time is money, so each episode will be as short and to the point as possible. And now, with all that out of the way, let's get to the vodcast. Welcome to week 3 of 4 on off-the-job safety and protecting yourself at home. We're going to give you a couple tips that will help you hopefully stay safe at home, because we want you to leave work safely and we want you to make sure that you leave home safely as well. So here's those tips. The very first thing we want to talk about is using the right PPE. Just like you would at your job at work, using safety glasses and gloves when you're cooking or when you're working with sharp objects at home. It's always good to make sure that you use gloves, goggles, and things like that as well, because it's going to keep things from getting in your eyes or possibly burning you or scratching your hand. So make sure that you use that right personal protective equipment at home as well as work. The second thing is going to be staying updated and trained on how to use tools. If you're using things like chainsaws, lawnmowers, trimmers, just any power tool at all, make sure that you are using the same consideration at home as you would at work, because it's going to be things like possibly getting your hair, not me, but loose clothing, having things fly up where you have that PPE in place to make sure that you don't get anything in your eyes, and that you are not burning yourself if you're using things like a stove or even an air fryer or something like that, or working around grease. So just make sure that you're using the right PPE, and again, that you are trained on the tools that you're using at home as well. Number 3 is going to be handling chemicals with care. Chemicals at home are going to differ a lot from the ones at work, but the same signage and use and keeping out of the way of people that aren't supposed to have it, for instance, children, pets. Just make sure that you are very careful, especially around things like fertilizers, any household cleaning items and things like that, because they can cause inhalation issues and can do a lot of harm to you. So make sure that you're reading the directions and you know the proper use before moving forward and using those items. The next thing is going to be practicing fire safety. That's going to be if you're using grease, if you're using hot surfaces in your kitchen, just anything. If you have fireplaces, make sure that you're using the right fire safety techniques, that you don't have any trash sitting around fireplaces, that you don't have a bunch of stuff cluttered up in your kitchen to where when you're cooking something could catch fire. And if you do have an issue, make sure that your fire extinguishers are charged, make sure that your smoke detectors have the batteries in them, and that you are just making sure that safety is number 1. The next thing is going to be avoiding overexertion. That's going to be things like trying to lift things that you shouldn't, possibly lifting wrong, going out and mowing the grass and not hydrating, and make sure that you're got all the liquids in you, and that you are just doing things as smart as possible. We don't want you to wrench your back because you're moving a couch or a dresser or something that you shouldn't be moving without another person helping you, or that you overexert yourself and there's nobody around to help you in an emergency. So just all the things that we've mentioned are things that this and many more tips are going to keep you mindful, to keep you safe, and to keep you as healthy and safe at home as we do at work. So thank you again for being part of another episode of Warehouse Safety Tips. Until we talk to you next time, stay safe at home and at work. And here's a word from one of our sponsors. Bye-bye.
It's scientifically unexplainable. It's virtually indestructible. And it's taking over the entire planet. But in a really good way. It's Mighty Line Floor Tape, the most durable floor tape in the world. 7 times thicker than average floor tape. beveled to endure pounding warehouse traffic, and backed with a super strong peel and stick adhesive, so you'll never have to worry about painting shop floors again. Mighty Line Floor Tape, the only durable stripe.